How's everyone doing? Today I have a Dollar Tree Blu-ray and DVD haul. Let me know if you've seen any of these movies and what you think of them, and let me know which one of these is your favorite. I've got 12 pickups in here, and let me know if you've picked up anything recently at your Dollar Tree movie-wise and what the best find for you at the Dollar Tree has been movie-wise. Leave me those comments down below. And I see people posting about getting 4K titles at the Dollar Tree. I've never been able to see that. Let me know if you've ever seen any 4K titles at your Dollar Tree. I remember like a couple years ago, people were posting Bad Santa 2. So that must have been there. But then I've seen people post like an Avengers movie, Dark Tower. But I don't know if people are placing those there or not. I feel like that's a little sketchy to me, a little surprising. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe certain stores, get better inventory. I think it's interesting that we're getting a lot of like Walmart titles, Walmart Select titles, a lot of Canadian releases, which I'm thankful for because even though they have the French text on there, it also has like sometimes slip covers that we don't have here in the U.S. or titles that we don't have on Blu-ray in the U.S. So I'm cool with that. I'll, can't read French writing, but I like seeing the slipcover. I like seeing the movie on Blu-ray that we might not have over here. But I'm definitely excited for these pickups. Again, 12 pickups here, 6 Blu-rays, 6 DVDs, and I feel like it's low risk, possible high reward. It's only $1. So even if it turns out to be a movie you don't like, you can trade it or sell it. You can at least make $1 off of it. If it looks interesting to me, I'll take a chance for $1. Why the heck not? First up is one that looked really interesting. I never heard of it before. It was Belcanto. This is directed by Paul Weitz, who directed the first American Pie movie, which I love, the American Pie franchise, the main ones. But he also directed Down to Earth with Chris Rock and About a Boy. An eclectic mix of movies, and this one sounded really interesting story-wise. It's based on a best-selling novel about a famous opera singer who's held hostage in South America by a guerrilla rebel group after performing at a Japanese businessman's lavish birthday party. And it sounds like there might be, some drama, some tension, and possibly romance involved. And it stars Ken Watanabe. I feel like he's been in a bunch of stuff, but I remember him most for Last Samurai, which he was nominated for an Oscar. And then Julianne Moore, who won an Oscar for Still Alice. Let me know what your favorite Julianne Moore movie is and your favorite Ken Watanabe movie is. But I feel like both are very talented actors, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking out. I like the concept here. Looks like, with good tension, and then, some dramatic elements. And I'm expecting some romance here. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. It says unexpected bonds are forged. So we shall see. But again, the cast, the concept, $1. Next up is Nature Calls. I do remember seeing this one when it first came out, and I want to revisit it. Patton Oswalt, Johnny Knoxville, Rob Riggle, and Patrice O'Neal. And, it's, with that cast, it's going to be just over-the-top comedy movie. Patton Oswalt is like a scout leader, and he's getting these kids to come along with him. And then Johnny Knoxville is trying to get some of the kids back because they were supposed to have a birthday party. And Patton Oswalt convinces the kids to go, I guess, camping with him instead. And Patrice O'Neal, absolutely hilarious right there. He was the first comedian I saw live doing stand-up way back in the day. I want to say it was either 2000 or 2001, but just blew me away. And after that, I was hooked for stand-up comedy live. So I started going to my local comedy club all the time. But I just remember thinking he was so incredibly hilarious. One of my favorite comedians of all time. Let me know who your favorite comedian is now and your favorite comedian of all time. Greg Giraldo is another favorite of mine that I saw a lot at my local comedy club. They both passed away now. But I remember Greg Giraldo, the last show he ever did was at my local comedy club. But he was supremely talented. I feel like he never reached the height that he should have. He was incredible, hilarious. But yeah, I'm going to give this one a chance again because of the cast. I remember, from what I remember of it, I thought it was, just kind of average. But, sometimes your taste can change, maybe depending on how you, viewed it as well, who you watched it with, your surrounding, your viewing experience can definitely shape your opinion on a movie too. So yeah, I don't know, I feel like the movie theater experience used to be something that I loved. Now it's so different. The world has changed a lot. I feel like everybody's got really good home video setups at their, with better audio quality sometimes too, picture quality, than a movie theater. And you got little kids running around in the movie theaters. People are eating and, you know, you have movie theaters with alcohol now. People were talking and acting a fool before alcohol. You're really going to introduce that? And, you know, people are eating dinner in the movie theaters now too. Before it was, you know, snacks and popcorn on the floor. Now I got like a chicken wing on the floor I'm tripping over to get to my seat. And I don't know, people got their cell phones going off. You're not that important. Put it on silent. You know, you're ruining the experience, not just for yourself, but for everybody. And I also don't want to like drink when I'm watching a new movie, especially if I'm paying a premium price for it. I don't know. I want to be able to focus on the movie. I also don't really like to eat a lot when I get the same thing. I feel like if I'm chewing, I'm missing some of the dialogue. There was a mini rant. I still like if it's a proper movie theater. I feel like certain, like if you're gonna see like a classic film like that and it's, you know, being shown in a movie theater like that, I feel like you have the right audience for it. But newer movies, like certain movies, I'm going to avoid watching in the movie, comic book movies and stuff like that, because I know it's going to be just a mess with the people there. That's just a little bit of a rant, and I feel like it's unfortunate. I've said this for years before everything going on in the world, that I think movie theaters were going down, and some of these things with, you know, the dinner and then the alcohol was kind of like a last resort to try to save them. But I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. I feel like movie theaters are going to be like drive-in movie theaters, where there's just a few per state, and everything's going to be on demand. And I feel like that's just the way of the world with digital and just everything going out, you know, physical wise, locations, brick and mortar, and everything's order online. It's all about that convenience. And I feel like that's the big selling point. So for, you know, older movies that are going to be shown, especially, you know, drive-ins and stuff like that, I will definitely go for it. But for a lot of these like newer mainstream popular movies, I'm going to skip the movie theater, unfortunately, just because of the negative aspects of the movie theater going experiences with people. People have ruined the movies, not anything else about it. But it's unfortunate. There's my mini rant. I'm so sorry. I just ramble on and on. I digress. Let's get back to it. Let me know what you think about movie theater experience. Let me know what your best movie theater experience was. I don't know. I feel like there's been I've seen some great movies out there for sure. And I'm thankful that I've seen them in the theater. But I just think I've seen so many negative, you know, people fighting in the movie theater, cell phones going off, kids crying, and, you know, little kids, babies. They shouldn't be, you know, when I watch a horror movie, rated R stuff, don't bring your kid for that. For certain movies, you know, like Disney movies or something like that, I would expect it, and I wouldn't be mad about it. You know what you're getting yourself into. But for horror movies, keep the kid at home. All right, end rant, finally. Next up is Barbershop, The Next Cut. I did see this one when it came out as well. I like the Barbershop franchise. The second one is my favorite. I like the cast. You got some newer people in here. JB Smoove I saw a lot doing stand-up. Very funny. But I like Eve a lot. I think she's very talented. And this one, though, I remember being a little bit more politicized. You know, like a bunch of the same characters, some new people, and just dealing with, you know, the times changing. But I feel like the politicized aspect was a big point here. And I kind of didn't like that aspect, but I like seeing the same cast here and some of the new characters. So for $1, I'm going to revisit this one. And also, too, like, I don't think any of these ones right now that I've shown have digital copies. The next one does. But that happened before, where I would pick up movies at the Dollar Tree and I would sell the digital codes. Even though they said expired, they would still redeem. Not always the case, but for the majority of the ones. So you can sell a code for even older movies for a couple bucks, and, you know, you're essentially making money off of it, which is crazy to me. Next up is Adventures at the Chocolate Factory. This is actually known, it's a Swiss movie, I believe. And it's Papa Mall in the Chocolate Factory, I think was like the original title. From what I remember reading about it, it was the first movie that was adapted from the character of Papa Mall. So basically, it's the father going to the chocolate factory to stop a chocolate explosion. The kids are left unsupervised. The mom's away, I guess. And the kids get into a feud with the nasty kids next door. So, you know, it's kind of a wild movie, but it's dubbed in English, which I hate. Read subtitles. If you can read, you can watch a movie with subtitles. I say that all the time. It's not that difficult. And I feel like the more that you do it, the easier it is to retain. For me, I don't know if it's just I'm getting older or what, but I also feel like, you know, you can get a lot more information if you put subtitles on. So I watch movies that are English language with subtitles just because I feel like you can miss certain things, and having the subtitles on can be more beneficial. Sometimes there's, you know, lower or inconsistent audio, or, you know, low talkers and stuff like that. So I always keep subtitles on even for English movies, but I hate that this is dubbed. I didn't realize that until afterwards. So yeah, if you're thinking about picking this one up, know in advance that this is dubbed in English. So this is Blu-ray DVD digital copy combo pack. I was interested in seeing more of the, the Willy Wonka, the Chocolate Factory, Roald Dahl adaptation storyline, but I'm bummed that it's dubbed. I'd rather, read the subtitles for it and hear it in the way that it should be heard in its native language. So next up is World Series champions 2017 for the Houston Astros, Major League Baseball. I know there's a lot of controversy about them stealing signs. I mean, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it. I don't think it should be quite as blown up as people made it out to be. People booing them, hitting them when they come up, some of the players and stuff. Cheating has been a part of baseball since the inception. I mean, Gaylord Perry fully admitted to, adjusting the ball, spitball, and stuff like that. And lots of people have done it. I feel like it was the old code or saying, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. But I don't know. I feel like even if you were to steal the sign, you still have to make the plays. You still have to, make the pitches, make the hits, all those different things. So I don't know. You can only do so much. What do you have to work with? Sure, you have an advantage. But I feel like you had to have caught on at some point, right? Like that they knew what was happening. It's not a one and done game. It's best of 7. So I don't know. I can't give them as much criticism as everybody else seems to be doing. They won it, and that's the bottom line. So yeah, if you're a Houston Astros fan, I remember the games being amazing too. So even if that was involved, there were still some amazing games here. I'm a Cubs fan, so if anybody sees the Cubs one of this, let me know. I never thought in my lifetime I'd see the Cubs win, so that was exciting. And it's unfortunate we just broke up the team essentially, and it's heartbreaking to see some of these guys that are on that team now that are gone. But it's the way of the world. It's all about production, and you have to see that on the field. But 2017 World Series champions, Houston Astros right here. And it's interesting. It says 2017 World Series champions, Major League Baseball presents. Where is the team name on the front of that? That's you got to put Houston Astros on there. I mean, you got obviously you can see it, but if you're new and you're just checking it out randomly or something like that, maybe the name should be huge right there. Interesting. Next up is Wild Horses. When I was younger, I didn't used to be a big Western fan, but now it's like my 3rd favorite genre. Horror by far, then sci-fi, now Western. And this is directed by Robert Duvall, who also stars in this one. So it says written and directed by Robert Duvall, and then again starring him. This sounds like a really interesting concept. James Franco, Josh Hartnett in here too. And this stars Luciana Duvall, who plays the Texas Ranger who's leading the investigation. And Luciana Duvall is Robert Duvall's wife, who is 41 years younger than him. He is 90 years old and she is 49. They met, I think, when he was like 75 and she was 34, I believe. Kind of wild. I'm open-minded, but that was kind of, shocking to hear. But Robert Duvall, very talented. Luciana Duvall, I haven't seen her in anything else, so we shall see. Hopefully she can do the role justice. Is this an Anna Nicole job where, she's marrying somebody much older to get, some kind of maybe roles in movies? Hopefully that's not the case. I don't know, just that age discrepancy that large just seems shocking to me. It's a concept I've seen before, especially in Westerns. Ranger Samantha Payne, she opens up a 15-year-old missing person case and uncovers evidence that the boy was probably murdered on a ranch belonging to a wealthy family man. And Scott Briggs, I assume played by Robert Duvall, doesn't say on the back here. And then the strange son comes back into the fold, and they're just investigating and trying to find out what happened to the boy that was killed. And she says she's putting her own life in jeopardy. And obviously, I feel like it's kind of like a formulaic plot right there, and I've seen ones like that. Last Train to Gun Hill was one somewhat similar. Western movie, older Western movie, great cast in that one, a really good one, which had a Paramount Presents release not too long ago. But again, I like Westerns. Let me know what your favorite Western movie is. Let me know what your favorite baseball team is. And next up are the DVDs. We've got The Ranger, The Cook, and A Hole in the Sky, and with Sam Elliott and Jerry O'Connell. This is from 1995. This... When I saw this is just like a really interesting way to market this. Right at the top it says over 1 million copies sold. I've never seen that in a movie before. It's from the writer of A River Runs Through It, and then down the bottom includes 4 bonus movies: Prairie Fever, Rugged Gold, Treasure State, and Pioneer Woman, which I'm not familiar with any of these. I'm not familiar with this main one either. The Ranger, The Cook, and A Hole in the Sky. But I like Sam Elliott and Jerry O'Connell. It's set in 1919, working for the U.S. Forest Service in a remote wilderness. So Jerry O'Connell is playing a 17-year-old hothead kid, and he's got a lot to learn. And Sam Elliott's playing the veteran character, hardened character, and they're blasting rock and blazing trails. So it's taking a look during that time period where everything is kind of rough in life, especially in the wilderness like that. So I like the 2 leads right there, and there's over 1 million copies sold, guys. Come on, you got to pick it up. And 4 bonus movies. They're really selling that one. Anything they can do. And everything is on 1 disc as well. So, womp womp. It's an Echo Bridge release. Yeah, that is everything on 1 disc. You don't want to see that usually. Next up is The Extra Man. I've never heard of this one either, but I like the cast a lot here. Kevin Kline, Paul Dano, Katie Holmes, John C. Reilly. This is really interesting to me. Basically, Paul Dano hits New York City after he leaves his job. It was an embarrassing incident, apparently. He gets a room at an apartment of Kevin Kline's, who is an eccentric playwright, but he's broke. And he's, working at a magazine. Paul Dano is now, and the co-worker is Katie Holmes. Obviously, there's probably going to be a romance aspect there. And then he develops a friendship, mentorship with Kevin Kline's character, who introduces him to the duties of being an extra man, which is a social escort for wealthy widows. Okay, I've never heard of that, but hey, I might look into it now. But again, I like the cast a lot here. It says right in the front, they're not gigolos, they're gentlemen. I remember when I was a kid, I used to have a big poster of Deuce Bigalow, male gigolo, on my wall. I got to meet Rob Schneider. I saw him at my local comedy club. Really funny, really nice. He signed my DVD of Deuce Bigalow. So again, the cast is a main selling point. A lot of these movies I've never heard of before, but if I like the cast, if I like the director, I'll pick it up for $1. Again, low risk, possible high reward. I found some really good movies at the Dollar Tree over the past. Last Flag Flying I recently got, which I love. That's like become a personal favorite of mine now. Watching that one just blew me away. Absolutely would highly recommend that one. 99 Homes is another really good one that I've seen that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. There's been a few other really good ones. Iceman too. But yeah, there's been some hidden gems at the Dollar Tree. Next up is a Backup Dancer with Ray Liotta, Rose Leslie, and Gina Rodriguez. I had a big crush on Rose Leslie from Game of Thrones. She played the character of Ygritte, and she was awesome, and she deserved better than how she went out on that show. But I remember seeing her in Honeymoon. Like, I watched Game of Thrones maybe like a year ago now, I think it was, for the first time. But I remember seeing Honeymoon before, which is a really good, underrated horror movie. And the director of that directed the Fear Street movies. But Honeymoon is really creepy and atmospheric. And I did a movie review of it on my channel like 7 years ago now. Check that out. But yeah, so it's funny to see, Game of Thrones and then realizing I've seen all these actors and other things before. And so when I saw that she was in this one, I was like, I want to pick this up. And I like Ray Liotta in here too. Very talented actor. Let me know what your favorite Ray Liotta movie is. Let me know who your favorite character from Game of Thrones is. I put off watching that for a while, and then I watched it and I was like, why did I wait to see this? I love that show. One of the best shows ever made, hands down. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the new series. I want a little bit more from that trailer, like more of a teaser trailer than anything. But basically, it's a struggling young backup dancer played by Rose Leslie. She's in LA, on the verge of getting a big break in show business, but she's trying to fight the pressure to return to Florida to nurse her cancer-stricken father, who I guess was kind of like what it seems like a deadbeat kind of father. I really like the quote on here, like on the back. It says, the little note, "Don't let the same dog bite you twice," and this is the boss. I really like that quote. I think that's awesome. Learn from your mistakes, learn your lessons. But yeah, again, another Echo Bridge release, a lot of Echo Bridge stuff. I feel like for a while I was seeing like a lot of the same companies releasing, but from the Dollar Tree. But then you saw like a lot of big studio ones too, Universal and Warner Brothers and things like that. Like you would see all those ones that were released like I don't know, 3 years ago or so, they're making their way to the Dollar Tree. So after that time period, but then there's certain ones, like I remember seeing a Wild Eye, which is like a low budget horror studio, and there was a movie, Jurassic Dead, which I thought was terrible. I did kind of like a review for that in a Saturday Night Vlog forever ago, maybe not forever ago, like a couple of years ago, but I watched that as soon as it came out, and then less than a year it was in the Dollar Tree. Crazy, but so definitely looking forward to checking this one out. I like Rose Leslie a lot as an actress. And next up is, and then of course Ray Liotta too. He was actually in The Iceman, which I just watched recently, which was a Dollar Tree pickup. The Last Word, though, with Winona Ryder, Wes Bentley. Wes Bentley always plays like the weird, creepy character in everything he's in, and he does it very convincingly. American Beauty is like the first thing I ever saw him in. He was great in that role. That's an all-time classic for sure. Winona Ryder also in the Iceman movie with Ray Liotta, and then Michael Shannon. Michael Shannon was married to Winona Ryder in that movie. That was about a hitman. Really good movie. But this one right here, Wes Bentley plays a writer who makes his living writing suicide notes for soon-to-be departed, which is dark right off the bat. And he meets Charlotte, played by Winona Ryder, who is the spirited sister of his latest client. So, you know, there's going to be drama already right there. So he has to lie about the relationship of the brother who, you know, he wrote the note for. And so it's a really dark rom-com, it seems like, really kind of like a black comedy. And then you also have Ray Romano in here, who's a new client of his. So it looks super depressing in here. I mean, those two shots right there compared to the other ones down at the bottom, you know? But I like the cast in here. It seems like it's going to be essentially black comedy, rom-com. But the cast is the main draw here, so gonna check that one out pretty soon. Next up is the story of J.R.R. Tolkien, Master of the Rings. You know, very talented writer. And actually just got an email about the new Middle-earth set, Lord of the Rings and Hobbit 4K set. Yeah, this is, you know, Hobbit, Lord of the Rings creator, J.R.R. Tolkien. I'm talking about his life and, you know, shining lights on the heroes and villains of, you know, Lord of the Rings and the experiences that helped shape the story. And then talking about his early life and experiences in World War I. And then I guess his insightful gaze at the enormous tidal forces of World War II. Interesting wording right there. But it's basically just all about his life and what helped him create these fantastic stories that we now know. I remember reading the books as a kid, and it's interesting to see them, you know, on the big screen. I thought they were really well done adaptations. And there's 3D maps of Middle-earth too. So illustrations by the brothers Hildebrandt, rare archival footage of Tolkien himself, and analysis from scholars, artists, musicians. So, you know, this is very interesting for you know, creative, you know, fantasy writer like that. And I'd like to find out more about his life and what helped inspire him. And last but not least is the best of Red Skelton. Very famous comedian from back in the day, and you know, said he's left viewers in stitches for over 50 years. Very famous entertainer, classic comedian, and one of the things that really drew me to this release is Red Skelton's Christmas Dinner. It's a music-filled holiday special, touching, but it has Vincent Price in there and Imogen Coca, with plenty of laughs for the entire family. But with Vincent Price, that was a draw. And I really am not that familiar with Red Skelton. I've seen like little skits here and there, but it's been a long time. So I want to see more. And for $1, let's see, you know, what was popular back in this time period. And then again with Vincent Price. And it also has more Funny Faces and Funny Faces 3, Royal Command Performance. So a bunch of skits right there. And, you know, it says the wackiest court jester in America gets silly with Britain's royal family in London's Royal Albert Hall. So that's kind of interesting to bring, you know, during that time period, big American comedian over to the UK to see how they'll do and, you know, see the cultural differences. And I'm curious to see how that went over. But yeah, just going over some of his famous sketches, and it says it's over 3 hours with 4 programs on here. So There we go. Those are the 12 pickups. If you've seen any of these, definitely let me know what you think of them and let me know which one of these is your favorite. Let me know if you picked up anything at your Dollar Tree recently, and let me know the best pickup you found at the Dollar Tree has been movie-wise. Leave me those comments down below. And I hope everybody's doing well. Take care.